Hi guys. I just want to do a little bit of audio adjustment. I think I got it to be a little more, let's see, a few small things that I will make. I will make some changes. Yeah. Okay, cool. Please let me know if it's too loud. Also, what is this called? Next. Nice. I need to make a couple of adjustments to the camera. And then we'll get this party started. Where are you, app? There you are. Okay, cool. Let's see. Can I... Oh, I see. Okay. Hold on. It's all good. I don't know how to make these adjustments. Okay. We can just make that slight, ever so slight. Okay. Fantastic. That should work. Camera stuff. Oh, there we go. Yeah. And so... Oh my god. I don't need any of that. Bear with me. All right. I like that we can do this early before anything happens. Okay, cool. I worked just, I had it done before, but it keeps resetting, so that's fine. Let's see. Let's see if I can make some changes here. One sec. There we go. There we go. That's what I wanted. No. Cool. That's much better. I feel like I just have, like I just obviously I could be slightly smaller than that, but so that I don't just cut off my head every time. It seems like a problem. All right. Make that a bit larger. Here I am in the corner. I can zoom in and I could work on what I need to work on without necessarily chopping off my head. Okay, cool. Let's now start the stream. Let me just do a thing to tell before people are here. I can do a post about it. Nice. All right. Let's go. All right. So, where we left off last time was kind of beginning to get some of the painterly effects that I was after in this portrait of Balzac. So I can now kind of begin some refinement, right? That's the idea. And that's my plan. So what I'm going to do is make a couple of quick adjustments. Make a couple of quick adjustments to overall proportions, which is a constant thing that we must do. Um, hmm. Interesting. There we go, and then the properties can come up. There's something off about this. Yeah, everything is somehow backwards and not exactly working how I want it to. Tools. There we go. Okay, cool. And now I could move things around in a way that works. Okay. Slightly bumpy start today. Sorry, guys. Whoever's here. It doesn't seem like too many people so far. So that's awesome. That's fine. So I'm going to just make him a little bit wider, which is what I was intending here. But cool. All right. That being done is actually kind of pretty much only changes I'd like to make. And now for some refinement. I'm going to try this on a separate layer. If it doesn't work, that's fine. But the goal is to see how much of this is possible, how much I can achieve. And if I just kind of concentrate on small stuff, right? Focus on detail and work from there. I did have this collection of adjustments, right? So my window and the brush creator. F5 has gone somewhere. Oh, it's moved here. Pen tint. I'd like it to follow my trajectory a bit more, and so here we go. Yeah. And now we can just begin some of these refinements. As I get into some more specific, there we go. I want a little bit of that texture to come up at all times, right? Like I don't want this to be, to have too much variation between kind of a hard, kind of like opaque areas and not opaque areas, right? Like I know that's a kind of a very interesting, exciting part of oil painting, but I'm not necessarily. I don't think that's what this needs. Right now, right? Like I think the kind of evenness of it all is what I was after, and I think I will continue with this idea. And in general, I'll try to keep everything kind of angled in one direction. So here we go. maybe a little bit too much opacity. There could be a softness that's introduced. You know, I'm not so sure actually about doing this on a separate layer. I'm not not yet at least. I don't know exactly if that's a necessary component here. It might be. But what I'm after is primarily yeah, it doesn't quite achieve the effect. It looks a little awkward. So if I bring this together, I merge the two, and I allow myself to kind of like, right? It's almost like the challenge with one experience. Like it's the issue one usually has when going over a painting that has been that is slightly dry, right? Like the advantage here is that it's up to me whether it dries ever, and it doesn't necessarily have to. Um, so I might as well kind of keep working at it as if it were just a clear alla prima without any additional. Okay. And a lot like oil painting, it doesn't quite allow you to place like to get as much contrast as you want, right? Because it keeps combining all the colors, which is ideal, really, if you wanted to imitate oil paint. But it's also something I'm like sort of unaccustomed to lately. Hey, hey, lo-fi sketches, thank you. Let's see where this goes today. It's off to a slightly rocky start. These like evening, the streams I do in the evening are considerably harder. For some reason, right? Like I guess because they come at the end of a day. How do I ensure my proportions are accurate? I go off of basically the assumption that they're never accurate, and so I just keep correcting them up until the end. Like I'm happy to make any adjustments that I need in order to get them right. I think that's sort of a crucial kind of a thing, to just keep adjusting no matter what happens. And then you're good to go, right? Like that just becomes part of the process, right? Like everything is constantly moving things around. Okay, that's preferable as a brush. As a brush, I wasn't quite into what I was achieving there. Yeah, so everything is temporary until the painting ends, until I run out of time. Is how I like to think about it. Yeah, it's not that it's yeah, it's just that's the way it has to be. Like it's painting is repainting, right? So you're just making adjustments as you go. And the more time you have, the more of that kind of repainting you can do. Now, that's not to say you just sort of repaint everything without thinking about it, right? Like you do go at it with like kind of something in mind, and you have to be just as aware of the parts that turn out okay, right? Like the parts that seem to be good. Yes, that's where I learned it. As a traditional painter, entirely, it came entirely from that. You obviously I can't use like liquefy or something to make those kind of adjustments. But I then just move things. And I mean, and obviously, like, if you spend time like this in the kind of early stages of a painting, you don't have to move as much. Though there have been times when I had to move a lot more than I was happy to. Um, but that's just the name of the game. And then, yeah, I'm kind of all that I do at that point is see if I yeah. So like obviously, as you go and the things get closer to what you need, you have to be as keenly aware of things that are like okay, so that you don't go and repaint things needlessly. You don't repaint things needlessly. Um, you you make all these changes because something is wrong. So obviously, as you go, the kind of the scope of these changes becomes smaller. And by that I mean that just like right, like I'll make the changes in a smaller area, or I'll move things only a tiny amount, but I'm moving them nonetheless. Okay, okay. I'm intrigued by things that are happening right now. I was not a moment ago. I'm just gonna kind of keep things local. Um, if you want to move, yes. Well, my advice in this situation is to assume that it's not just that it's not right from the start, is that it can't be right. Like it's just not possible, and it's immediately wrong. Like that would be how I think about it. And if you can approach it as something that's immediately wrong, and then as soon as it's wrong, your job is to correct it, it actually makes the whole like act of painting much easier. You know, because then you're not like attached to anything. And I know it's sort of um, a frustrating experience when things are always wrong. Well, it's my pleasure. Yeah, it's a frustrating experience when you feel like you can't get things right. But if you think that that's maybe just an impossibility, and if you do get things right, it's really just an accident that happened anyway. You're kind of in the clear. Mm, follow trajectory. Yeah. No, no, no. This head is totally not from imagination. This head is from a reference that I'm just not showing on screen. It is the. You can find it very easily. It's the kind of a portrait sketch of Honoré de Balzac, um, that was sculpted by Rodin, um, in his preparation for the monument for Honoré de Balzac that he was commissioned to do. And if you like, the monument is very well known. I actually had forgotten it. I forgot like how it looked, the actual monument, which was interesting when I started this. But it's such a good head, and it's in this is the clay one, and there's a really good image. There's an image of it from the front, and there's an image of it from the side, which is closer, which is the one I'm using. So if you type head of Balzac, Balzac, you will find it. You'll find a lot of them, right? Because he did a lot of cool sketches. But I'm just gonna keep kind of going at it and seeing how the refinement process happens, and how long it takes. So I'm trying to do. I don't know what at the moment, like how it's going to come together. Yes, I do. In this particular instance, I mean, I kind of do. I mean, I do in the sense that I do think of the planes of the head in the sense that I'm known in terms of my like education, in terms of my own education and the things I teach, as being all about the constructive anatomy and all of that stuff. So at this point, I've kind of don't lay them out. So instead, I kind of allow them to happen as I refine the head. As my teacher put it, all those like simplifications should be kept in your head, and not put on paper. Now they could be put on paper in the process of like understanding them and learning to use them, but like the end result is not that, right? Like it's you should simply just kind of paint what you see, and that should be what happens. And since I am kind of an anatomy nerd, if you will, I do. It's like I can't not think about it. Like at some point in time, I'll be like analyzing what's happening here in terms of the skull and all of that. Especially if I'm trying to like make adjustments to some of the proportions and things like that. It does kind of look like, yeah, I know, it's kind of cool. You kind of have to get into it. I don't know if you were here just at the very beginning, Tom, but I tried to do this. I tried to do this by making by keeping the layer I had underneath and adding this sort of on top. So like as if time had passed and the paint has dried a bit, but it kind of sucked, and so I just added it more directly on top, and that I feel has a little bit more of a painterly look, and it feels like painting a little bit more a la prima as well. But look at that, that's kind of cool that you can get that kind of scumbly thing happening as well. That's interesting. But thank you for coming. It's harder to like for us in the US. It's harder to do this one in the evenings. I think it's harder for me to do the evening one. I wake up early, so I'm kind of I'd become more quiet in the evening, which is exactly the opposite of what needs to happen on a live stream where I'm painting and talking. But it's looking okay. It's looking okay. But I do want to wrap this up today, at least. That's the goal. And you know what? I might just call it no matter where it's at that point. So I'm just moving along and working on some of the details. But I was talking about this earlier, or rather on Saturday, to be more precise, that it is kind of there is some sort of sacrifice that you make when you want a certain kind of quality in the like paint application, and you do have to kind of sacrifice refinement in order to achieve that. So I might end up having to sacrifice some of that refinement if I want to keep this looking alive. Because I can fairly easily, kill all of that and refine it at the expense of a more interesting application of paint. Let's see, where are we here? Last minute cramp. What is that? Is that like a kind of ad or like a bot? That's weird. Interesting. I haven't had that happen before. I don't know if it's if all of you guys can see it in the chat or only me. Let's see. Now I think we can get some of the shadows to be a little bit more intense. And I don't know how my audio is sounding, but I hope it's better than it was. I was trying to improve it because it was I felt that it was kind of maybe a bit too quiet. And also I have some kind of like added background music by an artist. An artist who I work with, and she's a painter actually, but she makes this kind of electronic music just on her own, like as just a hobby. And she said I can use it, which is awesome, and I will post her where you can find her art as well, because I think that would be cool. I will put that in for next time, so that we just have some kind of slight ambience. And she just said I could use it, and it's because they'll come after you on Twitch, I know, for using anybody's copyrighted music and stuff. They're quite aggressive about this. Okay, interesting. Nice. Let's continue. Let's just not be afraid to lose what I already have. That's always the challenge. Always the challenge. Yes, that's the thing. Yes, I heard that. And I kind of understood it. And a VOD is the recorded one, right? It's the one that like ends up on your stream after you're after it's all over, right? Like the one that is kept up there, at least for some time. I didn't look into that because I just wasn't planning on doing it. Okay, okay. But that's only temporary, isn't it? Like, I don't think it's not like it is on YouTube where the thing is kept, which I did. I tried to do a stream simultaneously on YouTube, and it worked earlier today, but did not work this evening. So I see, I see, I see. Thank you, Lo-Fi Sketches. That's awesome. Awesome to know. So yeah, maybe I'll do that. I'll have some. I'll because I learned how to make that happen. So I might make that happen. But I think that this is cool for now. It's nice to have just some music that I can have in here. So I was thinking about what to do on Saturday for my next live stream, and there was a person in chat who asked if I would do a drawing, and I thought maybe I will. At first I was kind of like, nah, I'm into this, I'm some of these, painting techniques, but I think the that could be a good thing after all. I was thinking that I hadn't done that in a while in that kind of a way. So there is another fairly interesting sculpture that I initially wanted to paint, but I think it would be good for a drawing. So let's do that. Then continue with more painting, because I think there's a lot more to practice here in terms of kind of to try to achieve the kind of painterly effect I'm after. Hey, Megan. The oh no, I'm not gonna do a traditional anything here, not yet, because I think this is just easier to organize and to see clearly. I think it's just gonna be harder to subfool. Hi, hi, Francis. The game. Yes. Easier for people to find me. I mean, it's possible to stream a traditional thing. I just don't, right? Because we had to during COVID when I was teaching and everything was online. Like that was rough. It's the reason why I kind of switched to digital painting in the first place, right? Because it was just easier to teach when I could share my screen and kind of try to replicate the things that I was explaining, right? Like it was easier for everyone to do it on their computers at the time, and that's the goal anyway for a lot of people who are in illustration and stuff. However, yeah. However, you might be surprised, but the imitation of this software, Rebel, is actually quite good at imitating charcoal and things like that. So I'm going to try it, and we're going to aim for a traditional effect, much like what we're doing here right now. Lil Megsy. That's what I'm trying to read your handle, and I'm like, what is it? And then it makes sense, of course, now. Yes, you should try Rebel because you, I think, would be quite into it. Because I think you have a good kind of a good handle on traditional on traditional media while also having the the experience with digital as well. So I think like this will there's a slight learning curve which I'm currently experiencing, even though I've worked in this for some time, and some people I teach use it, and so I'm in it. I don't use this for work, but nonetheless. Oh my god. As-tu enfin fini le Balzac? Lequel Balzac? The one I'm painting? Or the one I'm reading? I have about 10 pages left. But we'll see if I have any energy after stream. I might not. But that would be the thing. To finish. If I can finish one of these Balzacs, I would that would be good. But I don't have high hopes. I should be more positive, right? I will finish this painting. I still have time. I still have time. But I should complete this ear, though. Well. Yeah, so yeah, I'd recommend this. I mean, obviously if you are a traditional painter, I don't think there's any need to use the software. You have the real thing. But if you're after that effect in a way that doesn't involve you trying to take images of your work and editing them and all that stuff, this kind of comes close. What would be cool, and I don't know if anyone has, but I know artists who have done this with other digital media, to attempt to begin a painting traditionally completed, digitally, or in reverse, right? To begin a painting digitally and completed on canvas or something. And there are like artists who have this as their technique, as their process. It seems like kind of a hassle, but I've seen some of them, and the results are quite impressive. But once again, I will save that for the future, when there are when that's what I will yeah, I'll save that for the future. Am I reading? Don't make me do this in French, like here. No, I'm not reading Eugénie Grandet. I'm reading Père Goriot at a glacial pace. Not actually at night. The last like 100 pages are going quite quickly. But it started off real slow. It was quite hard. It was quite hard. In case anybody is interested, I'm reading it in French. Is my reference Earthsworld? No. My reference, I need to adjust how this is on the screen. My reference is quite. It's very close to what you're seeing here. It is the portrait of Balzac, kind of a sketch in clay that exists. That was sculpted by Rodin in preparation for his monument of Balzac. It doesn't look anything like the monument. Yeah, you were wondering why is it taking me so long to read a novel? Yes. Well, a part of it is that I don't have the energy or time, but other than that, it was also in French. A French that I did not like. It was very hard to understand when I started. It was harder than anything I had read in French prior. And now it's not that hard anymore. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, so this is a sketch owned by the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York of this head of Balzac, the author that I'm reading right now, which is why I picked this head, because I've always liked it just sort of came to mind, right? And I like the sketches that Rodin made for this monument from a young age. I like them, and they're in there, in my head somewhere. And I actually didn't, if you from the last live stream, I didn't remember the monument. It was pointed out to me by Tom that it's he sort of reminded me what it looked like. He reminded me where it was, and I then remembered what it looked like. The actual monument. I did not remember. I did remember all the sketches though. So when I was looking up something to paint, it appeared, and I was like, there we go." It was very apropos. All right, let's pile some paint on in the back. Let's see how that works. That ear is not quite coming together, mainly because of the softness, and I don't quite know how to achieve it here. We'll try. It just needs much softer edges, and so that's what I'm going to go after eventually. Yes, but I will go back to Earth. I do keep coming back to Earth's world, because they do have great references on there that I love, and I will, of course, we will go back there to do some more paintings in different styles. So maybe we'll do a drawing from there. Maybe we will do it from that other sculpture that I was talking about, that I could not identify either. I don't know who sculpted it, so maybe someone will help in chat when I pull it up, and I will have it on screen as well as a reference. So anybody who would like to follow along who might not have the reference will be able to. Okay. Maybe some other yes. Wait, do you do that often? Do you paint from those heads? I- It's cool to paint all kinds of sculptures, actually, right? Like it's just a good time. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. It's like I find it more interesting painting from sculptures than I do like working from other paintings, which I know some people are really into, right? Like anytime they're in a museum, they sketch, which I find interesting because I don't. Museums are not for. I mean, I have like done long, kind of elaborate copies in a museum, but that's something else, right? Like it's not like a quick sketch. In a museum, I just walk around. But you know, to each their own. Yes, yeah. And there was like that museum in Porto, the with the insane name, was really good because it was had so much good art without and I didn't know a single artist. And that's sort of a problem because I still don't like. There were a lot of names I don't quite remember, and so I was trying to talk about that one painter quite recently to some people, and I was the the guy who who died very young. I still remember his name. Yes. He was so good. He died when he was like in his. Well, I think that's old for when he died. He died in his 20s. He was so good. He was so good. Um, and it's such a shame. Oh, nice. Okay. That was an effect I liked. You know, isn't that cool when that happens? When you're like you you make like you put down something on canvas and it just sort of looks like what you want it to look like, though you never even like intended it. But there's something about it that like just immediately comes together and you realize it. That is what just happened. Is that the brush? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's kind of clean up some of this. Did you know a painting is kind of about its background? Let's see. Nice. Okay. Cool. Mm-mm, not the effect. See, like sometimes it works. It's like I'm imitating traditional painting. I'm not actually. It's weird. It's weird. There we go. I have I have to zoom in a bit. Okay, cool. Cool. Nice. Hey, Tom, did you end up going to that show at the Metropolitan, the John Singer Sargent exhibition that they had, I guess, not that long ago? We didn't go at the same time, but I actually managed to get up there, not in order not to see the show, but I was up there seeing my my parents, and it just so happened that I got a chance to go and see it. What'd you think? I'm sure you liked it. That's a stupid question. Sorry, but I thought it was good. I thought it was as a show it was actually excellent. It wasn't like enormous, but it had a lot of cool things, and there were some like really small, portraits and things I had never seen before that were really exceptional. And even a few of these like small sketches that he had, um, just even like pencil sketches that were quite remarkable. Yes, it is. So a part of the Porto uh, crew is here. You and Tom. Isn't that cool? This is a way to stay in touch. All right, let's kind of just close this a little bit. I need a little more room, right? Like this is getting a little crazy, a little cramped. Um, nice. Okay, cool. All right, I'll see if that's any good. Mm. Okay, cool. I can just make that slightly softer. All right. And maybe there could be something exciting that can happen with this background ever so slightly if I use some kind of a palette knife or something. We definitely need a Porto in Porto. No, maybe not. That is maybe we don't need to go all the way back there for the reunion. But it would be cool. Okay, interesting. Look at that. That's kind of cool. Like I wouldn't ever. Maybe I wouldn't necessarily do that on canvas, but that's not so bad. Okay, so my main problem here is yeah, this got like in some ways overly textured, which is not necessarily bad. And I can adjust this actually after the fact, which is not something you can do in painting. Okay. Now, before I get to do anything else, I don't like what I'm doing here. This is just a strange color. But what I want is, I would like to address this ear, of course, and actually make it look like something. Like everything else kind of looks like something already, but the ear does not quite yet. Okay. Let's give it a shot. I remember when my sculpting teacher, when I was still in high school, it wasn't in my high school, but it was where I took art classes. He was I was sculpting a portrait, and he sculpted an ear on the head that I was working on because I couldn't, and he did it entirely while looking at me and and talking the whole time. Like he did not look at the head. Like he just kind of knew where to put all the clay in order to make it look like an ear. And I remember at the time that was shocking. That's possible. I didn't think it was. Like I thought it was some kind of like I don't know. It just like appeared out of his hand, and then he attached it and left. The next blue hippo is we're thinking about some possibilities. So we'll let you know as soon as we have anything. It's there are some good ideas and some things that have recently come together that might be possible. So we just have to kind of organize around that. We'll keep you posted. Okay. An example of incorrect proportions. Now kind of being moved slightly in order to make some larger things match, and then we'll go from there. Because also I can't have it be as smooth as this, right? Like that's not possible. I could probably do them better from memory than I can than the job I'm doing now from like directly looking at it. I'm almost certain I can actually do a better job of any from like invent one than I am doing right now. Sometimes things just don't come together, you know? Hmm. Yeah, let's see. Megan, are you painting? Are you finding opportunities to keep doing that lately, or not as much? Hmm. Classes, cool, but it is hard. I know. Without a doubt, it is hard to keep it up when there's other things you got to do. Okay, cool. That's not so bad. I need some more stuff needs to happen. Interesting. Okay, cool. Um, there are like pieces of clay on this head that I don't know quite what to do with. There we go. All the crevices in this ear are making it a little bit more challenging in some ways. Do I visit Ringling? I do. I do. Because I I see J- John quite regularly. He comes over and stuff, and I see him. And we have coffee. So I drop by his class often enough. Um, okay, I mean, I guess maybe not as often as he keeps inviting me to go and paint there, but it's always in the mornings when I can't because of stuff I have to do for work. So yeah, I do go. See, as soon as you have a soft edge, my God, it just will do everything. Everything you need. It's so annoying. But yeah, let's do a drawing on Saturday. I'm also a bit quicker with that, so I might just need one. What do you call these? One live stream. The fact, like, when you have a sharp edge, it somehow just wraps things up a little bit quicker. Okay, ears beginning to do it. The things I wanted to do. I mean, I know I said I'm not, like, I wouldn't do this on the live, like, on these live streams, but there is something, like, if I could, like, I wouldn't be necessarily opposed now that I'm, like, really getting into the kind of techniques that this software offers to do like a copy, but like a copy that is more about just replicating the paint application of artists I like. That could be a good way to learn how to use this, you know. In order to have because I don't have there's a control I don't have here, which in a way is good, right? Like I like to put myself in that kind of a situation often. I did that with watercolor and gouache and things like that when I was sort of learning to use them. Kind of, it's fun to make yourself uncomfortable with a new medium, and a similar thing's happening here. But at the same time, yeah, so like that could be cool, right? Like I think that's also something to practice because I have some artists whose paint applications I really enjoy and I think um would look really good here. And I would maybe like to imitate it in something or other, right? Like, yeah, it'd be cool to do a copy. Oh, I like a lot of painters. I have too many. It's impossible for me to say who are my favorite painters. It's just not the thing. But I would like to do. I think a good artist for this software, strangely enough, would be Corneliu Baba, who I don't think about a lot lately, but we did think about a lot in school. But there's something about his paint application that could be very interesting, right? Like he's sort of opaque, but there's also a lot of he brings in the glazes in interesting places. He was a Romanian painter, and we really it's so if you want to check him out, I can put it in chat too, right? Corneliu Baba. Yep, there it is. In chat. Yeah, I would check him out. Like, I'm not even saying to totally replicate his paintings. I think they're quite, you know, him. It's hard to get in his head, I think. But there's something he does that like that's sort of magical. And there's a lot of others, right? Like so, with all different kinds of techniques and things. That not everything can be brought into here. I think, like I wouldn't attempt to do any. Maybe I would, but I think it would just be a hassle to do any old master. like Titian or someone. I feel like if the Titian should not be moved over into the digital realm. He's okay where he is. Okay, that ear, I'm kind of into right now. For some reason, it's not complete or anything, but it's sort of got something. Why not keep painting it so I ruin it? Is the thought that I will have. It's a good. Yes, it's sort of like combined with the rest of the head, which was my main issue. Let's see. Let's do this. And also, this is the best part. Like you get the effect you want, and then you just move it into place. Something you, of course, cannot do in traditional media. I kind of looked at the other screen I have, where everything is sort of where I have my live stream taking place, and it's very cool to see. I kind of have a small, like I can see like a small, like right, like a. I can see it on the small screen in a way, that where I can kind of like get a overall perception of the thing. I mean, I guess I could do it in here because every single thing has this. What is it called? Like a histogram or something? Is it a preview? There it is. That's kind of helpful, no? Like about that large. So, it's the equivalent of me getting out of my chair and moving a bit more, which of course I can't do, because then that would just be such a hassle. Hmm. Okay. Tom, I know you were painting this same head on Saturday. Are you continuing it, or have you moved on to something else? Yep. Is it easier or harder than Saturdays? I find it right. There's something easier about the beginning. This technique, so I have a key here that allows me to kind of smudge, but in a way that's not imitating paint application, but sort of imitates, right? Like it sort of imitates if I were to just like do it with my hand, um, like which I don't paint that much with my hands anymore. But we did all the time in school, and we just sort of move paint around in that way and integrate it in that kind of a way. Um, Hold on a second. Oh my god, what's going on? I'm trying to move some stuff so I can see it a little better. Ah, there you go. Well, that's cool. I'm glad that's helping. I was talking about what I'm doing here with Casper, and we thought of occasionally doing kind of a collab, kind of a thing as well, where I think you would be able to see both his screen and my screen, which could be kind of cool for a few things. So like as I don't know, a demo kind of experience as well. That could be interesting, and then we can have a chat about art or whatnot. Um, but we have to set that up, and obviously this would not be at this time because he's far away. Since you guys are, Casper. You, you know, that's interesting that you thought. Yeah, I mean, evenings for me in general a little bit harder, but I also thought it would be bad. Um, but here we are, right? We just have to show up, and it's okay. And something will come together. Might not be exactly what you hoped for, but it's okay. Yeah, we just have to come up with something cool to do with Casper. Some kind of an interesting combo of so yeah, all in the future. So stay tuned. But in the meantime, I am here twice a week. That's the plan. And I think I actually had a hard time starting this up. I had thought of this a while back, and then again, I had the idea, and then but it was just sort of hard to get and do the like start up the like to do the initial one for some reason. It was just like, and I do this kind of a lot. I teach online and things like that, but it was intimidating because here, right, you're on your own. Like there isn't like a class that comes. But I'm so glad you guys are in the chat and painting alongside as well. Yeah, I'm super appreciative of you being here, and I like that you're painting as well, which I think is great. Yeah, so this is a way for us to keep the practice going while everyone is far away. I was thinking of how it would be, right? Like the people who do this on Twitch, right? They're at it for hours, right? They're at it for like 8 hours at a time. They're not painting. they are they're playing games mostly. So I can see that, I guess, as like that's just be easier to do for 8 hours. But I was thinking like I could technically do this for longer, but I couldn't do the same image for that amount of time. I think I'd have to switch the like it would have to be a few things that would run kind of, concurrently. But let's not jump ahead with that. I don't want to. I feel like I get overexcited about all of this, and then I burn myself out, which is not cool. So instead, let's just keep it to what it is for now, and have it evolve organically. 24-hour painting stream. Um, one day. They do that. They do that shit. It's crazy. Like you, yeah. That's not good. Also, it's very hot in here because the computer has to be on, and it's. I mean, the computer's on all day, but like I feel that the software I'm using is quite intense, and yeah, and so is OBS, which I use to put together the stream. So it's really raising the temperature in here. Hmm. There's this cool stuff. You can see his like the other side. He's got like this mustache edge. Like here, it's a slightly darker value. It's kind of nice. That adds something. Maybe a little bit more intensity on some of these things, some more contrast. Hagen, are you painting right now, or are you just hanging out? That's the thing. Important proportional kind of alteration here. And that's the part he used, right? Like, that's the thing. See, like, oh my God, no, you have COVID. I'm glad. That's that's cool. I'm glad you can hang out here and not be with your COVID, just all alone with your COVID. Are you low energy, or do you have other COVID-like symptoms? Yeah. So, well, I hope. And yeah, I hope it's on its way out. Also. So it's interesting when you're copying, not even copying, right? But if you look at the the monument, or even just the other heads he sculpted to um to prepare for the monument. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, and obviously, like if you everyone's gonna have it in the same house, that sucks. I hope you feel a lot better, and your mom too. Yeah. So it's this like it's interesting what happens. Right, he used this part, right? This like the protrusion of his upper his lip, his upper lip. He used it in the final monument. He like over exaggerated it. Like it's not even, and I mean that in that it's not even an exaggeration. It's almost like a caricature. Um, but here it's there, but it's just it's not as apparent initially. But if you take a look at the other heads, even it's quite intense. That particular element, it is practically a caricature. Okay, cool. Let's see. What if I just move some of this around? Maybe. Let's get. There's also like a particular protrusion to the chin that is hard to get exactly right. And I know there's a double chin as well. There's actually in the book I'm reading, there's a really good kind of passage. Yeah, the monument is crazy, right? Because he's in a robe, and there's a sketch for him without that robe, and under the robe he's nude. And I think that was the intention, that he's nude under the robe. I don't know why, but Zach was not alive at the time, and he like so. Which I have to say, that's the most amazing part about the head we're looking like the head I'm painting, because he made it up, which is awesome. Because this head looks completely convincing. Yeah, so I don't know why Bazak doesn't have any clothes on. Um, yes, they also did not. The monument, yeah, they also had no idea why Bazak looked the way he did. um, but Rodin was okay up until the end of his life. He was no longer okay. Because he gave a lot of his money to the French government to for World War One, and then he starved to death, I think, or like no, I guess he didn't starve, but he didn't have any heat because he couldn't pay for heat anymore at that point. That's a story I heard. I don't know if that's exactly right. But there is a great sort of a great like, kind of passage in the novel I'm reading where he just talks about he's kind of I will have it on hand if I remember it, but it's kind of he is he's talking about I don't know like it's completely unrelated, like it's about some like the characters having some kind of interaction, and then he goes into and then he starts to describe the way a painter paints, and he's trying to make the connection somehow, but it doesn't quite land. But but it's a really good description of painting, though it has nothing to do with painting at that particular moment in the novel. There isn't anything at all that has to do with painting in the novel. He just decides to include that as like a as just I guess like he thought of a nice image. Um, that's also why it's sort of harder to read a little bit, because he goes off on these insane, completely unhinged sometimes. You know, the tangents that last for pages. But considering he was known to write very quickly while practically high on coffee, and complete these things in like 48 hours. That's why he wrote so many novels. How he was able to write so many novels. You could see why he just come up with a cool image and decide to include it, because I don't think he did much editing. So yeah, an interesting character. And with some, a cool portrait, even if it was rejected by those who commissioned it. I'm kind of adding some touches now that have kind of a little bit more painterly, if you will, The hard part is that I always go, like, at least so far, I haven't done enough of these. I've just started. But I always go longer on the evening one, because I'm trying to complete the thing I started. And so I have to go as long as I have to go in order to finish it. Which it should be the opposite, right? But I feel like more people come to these on the weekend, which is understandable. Yeah, kind of like doing a few scumbles is nice. Hold on. Let's see if I can. There's one thing I wanted to. Hold on. I'll show you. Balzac sketch Nude Rodin, right? The classic. The one where he's underneath, right? So that's what he became. And the thing that's very interesting is the classic Balzac as a. So this was the monument. So nude under the robe, but like completely doesn't even look like the man we're looking at here. But then there's a sketch called Balzac as a seal. I don't know if you've seen the seal, but there is a seal in that same pose that also sculpted by Rodin. So you could see he was he was experimenting with these ideas at the time. I am a fan of the seal. I'm actually kind of a fan of of all of it. But yeah, so that's what we're working with here. Clearly, this is where he started. Let's do some glazes maybe. And then let's see how that looks once we add all that in. It's going to be harsh, I think, in places, but that's fine. Because we can always soften it on some of those edges. To get the effect we want. And even erase it like you can with a glaze. Okay. But maybe a glaze could be interesting, something to place on the lighter areas as well, right? Like maybe we could just place it on top. Let's see what happens. And then remove it. Let's see. Nice, but it can potentially give us a little bit more. A cool thing would be to glaze over all of this and keep painting. But that's for obviously a longer, right? Like if I go over the whole thing, that could be very interesting. And then to kind of carve out of it. I would like that. And obviously a little bit closer to an old master approach. Nice. Let's now like erase some things. No, erase. Thank you. Let's go. You aren't able to do this right away, Tom, for obvious reasons. But this is possible in traditional media. It just obviously you need to wait a tiny bit. And yeah, now we can remove this like extra. All these halos and things. So that's clean. It's ever so slight. Alright, but that's kind of what we had, but just for some overall color adjustments. Yeah, a traditional kind of way, but at the same time, it ruined something for me. Hmm. This is the part, as I said, where I ruin everything. Hmm. Maybe some of these lighter values can go into here. Right, that's kind of cool. Like kind of a quick way to get an edge. It goes from like a hard edge, from like a soft to a hard edge there. I'm just kind of scumbling a light. There is like this piece of clay right here, which is so ridiculous. I kind of want to paint it, but I feel I'll get too it'll just kind of just imitate the clay more than evoke it. I don't want that. Let's see. How do I feel about this? Okay. I actually think it's not bad. I just don't need all of this. I have masks and stuff. Mask. Transparent. Oh no mask. And then just remove some parts. I don't think I need this area. I don't need this area. Okay. Is there more to do? Certainly. There's certainly more to do, but I don't know. I feel kind of okay where it's. I feel okay leaving it where it is. Like I don't know. Um, let's see. Let's see if we get some cool textures. Maybe I'll enjoy it. adding some more stuff in. No. That's too much. Yeah, these things are kind of insane. So I don't know how I feel about them. No. This is the hardest part, God. This part's so hard. Just like how to complete a thing, how to wrap it up. In like a way that doesn't require you to refine everything, right? Like that's the challenge. Hmm. Cool. Something I like there. Hmm. Yes. It never leaves me, the Terminator. It is what they'll put on my gravestone. Yeah, so obviously I'm not at a point where I would refine this forever. Right, I of course can, but I think we should save that for maybe slightly larger projects. I don't think I can do nudes on Twitch because they have quite intense policies against this, which of course is ridiculous. But I guess they're not known for their art. Thank you, Megan. I like how you called it a passage. It's very nice. You're that's quite a. It's always awesome when a painter is speaking like a musician. It's great to hear. Look at that. That's kind of paint. That's kind of looks like paint, huh? I'm not kidding though. Yeah, like I think calling it a patent. That's what That's what painters do refer to things like that as. It's just. I don't like that this is a line. I had it as a line, and I don't like that anymore. It should be just a value relationship. There is something very cool about the cuts for his mustache. Can I do them without? Let's try. And then obviously, because it's not just a line, it's a cut, it's going to have that edge that's catching light, right? This might be overkill, but it's just too light. And he has some of the cuts here too. Let's zoom out. Nah. Oh, whatever. I'll leave him. Okay. Ear has this hard edge right there. The rest can be softened. And this whole lip should be darker, but it just, I mean, God, I wish this was Photoshop though. I can just, I could just make the adjustment, but I cannot. But I don't want to. I don't want to just repaint it. Maybe I can. Let's see. Can I just make the adjustment? Selection. That's it. Yeah, the small version looks kind of all put together, right? Well, I'm happy to explain it. Even on one of these live streams, I can do just an overview of everything on it, if you'd like. curves I can do. What is happening? Okay. Does that work? Filter levels. Oh! Thank you, Megan. That that was a stupid mistake on my part, but I'll take it. Let's see if this works. But I don't want this to just, I don't want this to permanently change the layer. But I'll have to do it. Let's see. There we go. So it works. Just ever so slightly. Just like that. Cool. I didn't have to repaint it. So you can get stuff wrong. And it's awesome. You can just keep going. While still making it look like an oil painting. The cool thing also about this software is that you don't have to you know, pay a subscription. That is super important nowadays, where everything is a subscription, right? Like you just own the program outright after you pay for it, and it's not super expensive. Tom, it would be awesome to see you become a digital painter, though. That'd be super cool. Um, it is not, in the sense that it won't imitate oil paint. It can kind of attempt it, but it's not quite the same. I still think it's a good way in a way, because all of the kind of individual components, like picking colors and doing things on different with, like, you know, masks and things like that. You can, if you haven't the experience, that's a great place to begin. But it won't have you know, all of these, you know, textural things that you can do here. That's this is sort of the only software that has it. I mentioned there used to be another one. It's quite old. It's been around for a very long time. No, I'm using my computer. I'm using my computer. However, yeah, if you want, I do. I have a plan that I would like to use the the iPad in the future on these. But yeah, start with Procreate. That's not bad. I mean, it's actually kind of a shame that this does not exist on iPad, mainly because I think the new iPads are extremely powerful, and there's no real software that requires them to be that powerful. But this might be the thing that can really harness all that power. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. And it's good. I think it's cool, and it's where I started out a long time ago in Procreate. Like ages before I actually started doing any digital painting. The Procreate update, I haven't used it in quite a while, so I don't know what the update is, but I will take a look. It's good. It's good, you're saying? I'll check it out. God, I can't stop, and I'm liking the stuff that's happening now. Oh, Kyle, is he's still around, Kyle? Huh? Okay, cool. I will check it out. I will up I will I'll update it. I haven't in a while. So yeah, so I have a lot of things planned for this. I will use heavy paint as well, which Tom, you might it's the exact opposite of what I'm working on here and how I'm working on here. It looks like something insane. So it doesn't look like traditional painting, but I think it's still cool. It looks kind of like that Spider-Man, the Spider-Man animation. If you've seen it, I have a hard time with that one because it practically makes me have seizures. It's so, but the art is kind of cool. Okay, interesting up there. Some cool happening up here. It's this part that's actually quite hard. It's quite a challenge. This like cheek is a real challenging part. But I do need some large adjustments, and in the back of the head. Always want to complain about the cranium. I will combine all this. Yeah, I'm liking these latest changes, so I will combine all of this. Oh, no, 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 no. Why? Did anything drastically change? Oh, look at that. That's crazy. Interesting. Let's see. Redo, 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 redo. That got weird. Okay, cool. Let me just make a couple of adjustments to the back of the head. Yeah, that's a kind of a big challenge with a lot of adjustment. Like, and when I start to use a lot of them, and for the game, there are times when I use a lot of them, and it just gets a little. It all falls apart. But I do love adjustment layers. I say, why not just use all the techniques it gives you, this software? Or any software. Kind of like any medium. Right? You should take advantage. His head is quite squarish, you know? Okay. Cool. This, like, it looks quite good if you, when you're zooming in, it, like, has all of these interesting textures that are quite nice. Can't complain. There's some structural issues on the chin, but we're not gonna get too into it. I am okay with some things being a little off in this case. I will be drawing with the same program on Saturday. Yes, because I think it gives me the closest thing to the kind of the texture of the paper and things like that, which I'd like to keep. So yeah, I will be working with this on Saturday, and then I might do something slightly. I'll do something else after that, I think. Yeah, there's a lot of cool things we can play around with here. Okay, one more. I give myself only the opportunity to do a single mark. Maybe another one. Only one. No. Okay. Hands off. Otherwise, I'll just keep at it. Whew! Thank you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with me for a whole 2 hours on a Wednesday evening. So this was cool. I will post this image. I'll post a time lapse and all of that stuff. Of course. I'll never stop. No, I will just keep at it forever. Like, what is this right here? Who knows? I don't know. But it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. It worked out. It's on the whole, it's not bad. And then, right, like completing a painting is so like it takes so long, and you don't make any changes. You're just like standing there looking at it, and just like making extremely small adjustments, and then thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done it that way. It's insane. But yes, thank you guys. Absolutely, Megan. I hope you and your mom feel a lot better. The COVID is gone, and you can, get back to health and come back and paint as well. Paint along. That'd be fun. Yeah. Thank you so much. I will see you guys on Saturday. That's right. Bye, everybody.